All right, so now we're graphing limacon graphs. And here you notice our A value is 5 and our B value is 2. 5 divided by 2, 5 divided by 2, ooh, I don't want to do that. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. So 5, when A divided by 2 is bigger than 2, we have what's called a convex limacon. So our convex is right here. Now, when it's plus, the bigger half of the limacon, or the bigger half of the graph, goes to the positive side. If this was 5 minus 2, you notice how that goes to the negative side. The bigger, or the most of the portion goes to the opposite side. Now, if you notice here, there's a kind of a pattern, and we can see that 5 plus 2 is 7, and that is our outer, or the biggest part of the graph. You also notice that 5 minus 2 is 3, and you notice our convex part is at 3. You also notice that our our y-axes are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is our A value, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is our A value. Now, if this was the sine, or since it's cosine, it's symmetrical over the x-axis. If it's the sine, it's symmetrical over the y-axis. Again, you notice if it's plus, it's going, the bigger half is, or the bigger majority of it is going up. If it's minus, the majority of it would be going down. So let's change it back to what it was. So this, when A divided by B is greater than 2, we have something that's called convex. When our A value divided by 2 is in between, so it's in between 1 and 2, we have something that's called a dimple. So here you can notice we have a little dimple. Now again, we have plus, so the bigger, or the majority of the graph, is going to be in the positive. Since it's sine, it's symmetrical over the y-axis. A plus B is 5, so the bigger part intersects at 5. 3 minus 2 is 1, so the dimple is at 1. Again, our A value is 3. You can see where the x-intercept is 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and negative 3. So again, A divided by 2, we have something that's called a dimple. There's a little bit, it's dimpled, it's inside. Now again, if we had minus, the graph would be going down, or majority of the graph would be going down. If we had cosine, it would be symmetrical over the x-axis. Again, minus, it'd be going left, and plus, it'd be going right. So our original was cosine, so we'll put it back. Now here, our A value and B value are exactly the same, and we have what's called a cardioid. It looks like a heart. So again, since it's cosine, it's symmetrical over the x-axis. 4 plus 4 is 8, so majority of it is going to be at 8. Since it's minus, it's going to be at negative 8, because minus means the majority of the graph is going to be to the left. 4 minus 4 is 0, so our cardioid always intersects, or the heart of it reaches 0. Again, our A value is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If it was plus, it'd be going, the majority would be going in the positive. And if it was sine, then it would be symmetrical over the y-axis. And if it was minus, the majority would be going down. So since it was minus, and we'll put cosine as the original. So this is a cardioid when A and B equal, or A divided by B equals 1. Here, our A value divided by B is less than 1, so we have what's called an inner loop. Now, since we have a sine function, it's symmetrical over the y-axis. Since it's minus, majority of the graph is going to be negative. A plus B, or 2 plus 3 is 5, so you can see that it is at, or the majority of the graph is at negative 5. 3 minus 2 is 1, so you can see that the inner loop is at 1. If we change this to be 7 and 9, 9 minus 7 is 2, so you can see the inner loop is at 2. And 9 plus 7 is 16, you can see that our x value would be, or excuse me, our bigger half would intersect at 16. But if we change it back to the original, there we go. If it was plus, our inner loop would be positive and the majority of the graph would be in the positive. And if it were cosine, then it would be symmetrical over the x-axis. And since it's plus, majority of the graph is going positive. And if it's minus, majority of the graph would be on the x is negative. So we have sine. So this is where A divided by B is less than 1. We have what's called an inner loop. B minus A is 1, so our inner loop is at 1. 2 plus 3 is 5, so we have it at 5. Again, you can notice here, 2 is our A value, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that are the limacon graphs.